So at our family education night, we offered a quick parent session on Schoology since it's such a new program for all of us here at the school. Since not everyone was able to make it to family night, I wanted to just briefly go over the PowerPoint, which gives a very quick overview into Schoology and how both you and your student can use Schoology. So a couple of notes on Schoology. First off, Schoology is new to all of us. We are definitely appreciative of everybody's patience as we are learning this new program, figuring out how to get information into the program and how the program is going to work for us at the school. So again, we definitely appreciate your patience. Another note about Schoology is that Schoology is a resource, so it does not replace student responsibility. Anything that teachers are placing in Schoology, whether it be a homework assignment or a copy of notes or a PowerPoint, that information was already given to students in class. So technically, if a student has difficulty getting into Schoology one night, that should not prevent them from doing the work because everything should have already been received during class time. Schoology does also not replace communication. We still encourage our students to communicate with their teachers if they have questions, to check in with the teachers and ask about their grades in their classes. And then, of course, if you, the parent, has any questions, we do encourage you to either use Schoology or email to communicate with your students' teachers. Schoology is also a really great tool. It does allow us to build in some more 21st century skills into our education with our students. So students, as we get more into the program, they'll be using the website more and more. They'll be doing assignments in Schoology, taking quizzes and tests in Schoology. They'll be able to work in groups in Schoology, as well as do discussion assignments. So it really does give a great interactive learning environment. It's also an opportunity for us to increase student ownership of learning. And that's why we have two separate accounts in the program. There's the student side where the student will be logging in with their username and password. That will allow them to have the full course interaction in all of their classes. We then have the parent side, which is really there to view grades and then just to give a quick overview of information that's being distributed in classes. But we definitely do want students and parents using their individual accounts. So to give you a little bit of information about the different accounts, all of our students are given an email address from the school. It's just a normal Google email address, so they can log into through mail.google.com. Their email address is their first name last name at yorkprepsc.org, and their password is the letters YPA and then their student ID. All parents did receive an email with the student's student ID, but if you need that again, just contact either Debbie Smith. Her information will be at the end of this presentation, or you can contact your student's teacher, and they can give you the student ID. Once students access the email account, there is a link in a Schoology email to where the students can get their username, which is their student ID, and a Schoology generated password. Once they do get into Schoology, we encourage them to change their password to something that they can learn and remember. But we do ask that if you change your student's password for them, please let them know what the password is. They do need to be able to access their student account on a regular basis and will be accessing it in classes as well. So we need to make sure that the students know what their password is. Another thing that we've noticed is that the Schoology account is connected to the York Prep email, and we ask parents not to change that. That connectivity is really important in our classes. Not only does it allow us to be able to get into a student's account if they come in and they've forgotten their password, but it also will help them later as they'll be using the Google Drive part of their email account in their classes with submitting assignments. This is what the student Schoology homepage looks like when they first come in. So you can see there, they can check on their own grades and attendance, and we definitely encourage students to keep up with their own grades. And if they have any questions about grades that they have received, they can talk to their teachers. They can see updates from their teachers as well as from YPA. They can also click into their individual courses, and then they also have a calendar where they can see homework as well as upcoming assignments, tests, and quizzes. Once they click into a course homepage, that's where they can see grades for that particular course, as well as updates from that specific teacher. We also are having the teachers put information from the course in the materials page and organizing it within folders. So if you click on a folder, you'll be able to see even more information provided by the teacher. They can also have the calendar for that specific course where they can see homework and upcoming assignments, tests, and quizzes for that particular class. They can also at the top right change their notification settings so they can get emails or notifications for different categories, such as when an assignment is due, when new material is uploaded, so they can change a lot of those different settings. Now for parent side, that's really kind of a view-only account. The student's account is where you have the interactivity, which is we want for students to have, but the parent account is really a view-only account. So to get into your parent account, you go to the Schoology website listed here, select parent, and enter your student's access code. You should have received that in an email from YPA, but again, if you need that, you can email any of your students' teachers and they can give you the access code for your student. After that, you'll be able to follow the instructions to create your parent account, and if you have multiple students, you'll be able to add additional student codes and have all of your students linked in one account. When you get into your Schoology homepage for your parent account, at the top right is an arrow, and that's where you can toggle between your parent account and your parent view of your student accounts. In your parent account where it says your name, that's really where it's almost as if you were in classes, you could see information. So there's not a lot of information in the parent portion, but if you click on the particular student, you can see your students' classes, calendar, and information and grades. So that at the top right is where you can toggle between your different students. From there, your program looks very similar. You can see the grades and attendance for the student. You can click in information for individual courses. You can see the updates the student is receiving from their teachers and from YPA. And you can see the calendar for homework and upcoming assignments, tests, and quizzes. When you go into the individual courses, that's where you can see more information of what the student was provided in class as well as upcoming projects. But again, just remember that all of this is information that was already shared with the student in class. And we really want to encourage our students to take responsibility for their learning here in the middle school. Here's just a few snapshots of what the calendar will look like. If you click into that, you can see the different information for different courses. You can also even change the colors so that if the student wants to see different courses a different color for homework or assignments, you can do that. You can see what the grades look like in the grading system. And then you can also see the course materials, updates, grades, and calendar. If you, of course, have any more questions, definitely feel free to email me, Rebecca Kick. I am the Middle School ELA and Social Studies Support Specialist, but I've been tasked with helping our students and teachers with our Schoology implementation in the middle school. But we also have Debbie Smith, who was our Schoology implementation specialist for the entire school. And so if you have any questions, you're definitely welcome to email either of us. But of course, if you have specific questions about a course, we do encourage you to email the student's teacher or communicate with them through Schoology. Now, I will tell you, they're going to encourage you to have your student come to them because that's really what we want to see happen. We want the students asking questions when they don't understand. We want the students asking questions when they have a problem or when they have concerns about a grade. And we want the student keeping up with their work and keeping up with their progress in class. So definitely always encourage your student, teach that accountability for them to take ownership of their learning. Thank you for your time. Again, if you have questions, please feel free to email.